Hey everyone, today in my little guitar corner we're going to try something completely different. We are going to review a beginner budget guitar kit from Donner, the Donner DST-1S guitar kit that can be purchased on Amazon.com down in the States and here in Canada on Amazon.ca. Down in the States, this entire guitar kit retails for $135. Here in Canada, it is $189. That's not fair. How come we have to pay $60 more? From here on in, we will call this the $150 guitar kit and split the difference. Donner were kind enough to reach out to my small YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago and asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing some of their products. And after checking out reviews of their products online, Donner are mostly well known for making these small micro pedals. And they also have this beginner guitar kit as well. And their stuff is very well reviewed. It's all 4 to 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon.com. So I figured, sure, I'll have a look at your guitar. And full disclosure, right up front, Donner are paying me $1 million to review this guitar and said it better be a good one or they're coming after my family and my dog. So it's a really great guitar. It's really quite something. You wait till you hear it. Actually, they're not paying me anything. They sent me the guitar kit. I suppose I get to keep it. I'm not doing it for that reason either. I already have 4, 5 Stratocasters. I don't need another one, especially a beginner budget Stratocaster. But I'm doing it because I wanted to. I've kind of wanted to try my hand at reviewing a product, and Donner were cool enough to reach out to me and ask me in this regard. And so I thought that was awesome. So and after checking out the reviews of their products, I decided to say yes. And so let's see how this goes. I'm going to show you everything that comes in the kit. I spared you the unboxing because I think unboxings are silly. It comes with this very cool little 3-watt micro amplifier, which I'm very curious to see how it sounds. Lots of other accoutrements comes in the package, everything you need to get started. And so let's have a look at this thing. Let's play it, see how it feels, see how it sounds, see how it's built. Let's try it through a real amplifier. Let's try it through this little micro amplifier. Let's abuse it, see if it stays in tune. Let's put it through its paces. And so let's get started. Let's have a look at the Donner DST-1S. All right, let's have a look here at what we have in this $135 guitar kit. It's rather impressive. It's amazing what you can get for the price these days when it comes to guitar equipment and budget equipment. You know, when I was a teenager 1,000 years ago, learning how to play guitar, you know, you'd buy a budget guitar from Sears for $200 and a budget amp for $200, and then you'd have to buy all the cables and all that stuff separately, and then you're up to $500 for basically a bunch of junk that was hard to play and didn't stay in tune and that sounded bad. And nowadays you can get all this. This is quite something. You get a Donner gig bag, decent quality, as good as any quality you'd find with a Squire from Fender. Guitar cable, a guitar strap, a whammy bar. My advice to you, if you're a beginner, is take this whammy bar and hide it for 3 years until you know what to do with it. Otherwise, all you're going to do is put your guitar out of tune. So, what else you got? Capo, something I have never used in my life, but if you do some strumming, you may find use for a capo. A little pack of guitar picks, a clip-on tuner for the headstock of your guitar, an extra set of guitar strings, gauge and quality unknown, an Allen key for adjusting your truss rod. Stay away from your truss rod if you're a beginner. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Truss rod is a rod that runs down the middle of your guitar neck that adjusts the bow and curvature of your guitar neck. Best left to a professional or someone who knows their way around a guitar. Otherwise, you may break it. So stay away from your truss rod. An Allen key that is included for a beginner, I think, is something maybe you shouldn't use. But an Allen key that is not included is something that I think should be included. An Allen key to adjust the saddles on the bridge of the guitar. This is not the guitar, this is my Stratocaster, but the saddles, the little saddles down here that adjust the height of the strings and, you know, potentially you can lower the strings to make it easier to play. A little Allen key to adjust these up and down. It's hard to screw up. You adjust them down too low and you start getting buzzing on your strings, just adjust them back up again. So my advice is to Donner, add a little Allen key for adjusting your bridge saddles. And like I said, it comes with this little 3-watt micro amplifier, little 3-watt 2-channel micro amplifier. Has a clean channel, a distortion channel, a tone control, and a gain control. In the back, it has a USB cable for charging, a little indicator light for charging the internal battery, goes off when it's fully charged, a headphone jack, a auxiliary input, and the cable, so you can hook your phone up to this thing and have a little portable speaker. You could buy a little Chromecast audio dongle and plug that into the auxiliary and have a little Bluetooth speaker. So, and channel selector switch there, and the input jack for your guitar. You can buy these separately for $40 on Amazon.com. I'm very curious to see how this little thing sounds. It comes included in the kit, which is incredible. So anyway, that's everything that's included. I think I've touched on everything. And so now let's have a look at the guitar. All right, this is the Donner Standard Series HSS Fat Strat Stratocaster. Fat Strat humbucker in the bridge position, single coil in the middle, single coil at the neck. I love this configuration in a Stratocaster. I don't have any like this, and I want one. So I may mod this guitar when I'm done with it. But anyway, you got your humbucker here for playing hard rock, metal. You've got your single coils up here for playing, you know, blues and whatnot. 5-way selector switch. I rarely, on my own Stratocaster, which has a single coil down in the bridge position, like most Stratocasters, I rarely, if ever, find myself playing down there. I just find it too twangy, and it's great for maybe playing country and stuff like that. But you know, I'd much rather have a humbucker in the bridge position for playing hard rock and metal, because I just love the shape of a Stratocaster. All of my guitars are Stratocaster shaped. It has a 5-way selector switch. Typical of a Stratocaster, it has your volume here, tone and tone. You know, I imagine for a budget guitar, most of the hardware is going to be Chinese, rather, you know, cheap Chinese hardware. The bridge, I recommended earlier, take the whammy bar off. Don't use it if you're a beginner. It's probably just going to put your guitar out of tune. But as far as bridges go, if they've got decent saddles, and these look like decent saddles, and you're not using the whammy bar to excess, bridge is going to be just fine. It seems to have very stable tuning keys on it. Again, probably just cheap Chinese tuning keys, but they seem to be very stable, and the guitar seems to be holding in tune pretty well over the past 2 or 3 days. One negative that I found on this guitar in particular, and I don't think it's indicative of all of these guitars, is the paint job. I think this one may have snuck through quality control. And the thing about budget Chinese made, and I'm guessing this is a Chinese made guitar, is that the quality control is lacking as far as when it compared to higher end guitars. The finish on this is a burst finish, you know, your typical classic Strat burst finish, orange in the middle, turning to red, turning to black. But all around the edge of this one, the paint job is actually quite poor. It turns to gray all around the edge. And it's like the machine was running out of paint or something, and then this guitar just kind of made it through quality control. But it's not as bad on the bottom, but as you go around, it's all gray, and I don't think that's on purpose. But anyway, that's an aesthetic thing. It doesn't affect the playability or the sound of the guitar. It's a basswood body. Nothing wrong with basswood. It's a cheap wood. A lot of budget guitar makers use basswood in their guitar bodies because it's a cheap wood. It's not the most attractive wood, but you paint over it, you can't see it. Some very famous guitar players prefer basswood in their guitars. Steve Vai, John Petrucci of Dream Theater, for its tonal qualities and its weight, I suppose. But so nothing wrong with basswood, even though it's a cheaper wood. Some budget guitars are made of plywood, and so this is a big step up from plywood. Beautiful maple neck on this thing, Canadian maple neck, and a nice satin finish on the back. I hate gloss on my guitar neck. If I have any guitars with gloss on the neck, I sand it off. It has an ebony fretboard, a really nice ebony fretboard, something you would find on a higher end guitar. And they don't make fretboards out of rosewood anymore because it's an endangered wood. So a lot of manufacturers are turning to maple and ebony and other woods, hybrid woods, some of them. But ebony you can find on high-end guitars, and so it's nice to see an ebony neck on this. 22 frets, I love 22 frets on a Strat compared to 21 frets. I'm often up here, and on my own Stratocaster, which has 21 frets, or one of my Stratocasters, my main Stratocaster has 21 frets. And if you're up here playing, soloing in A or E, which you do a lot of soloing in, you can't get up here into these higher registers when you're soloing in A or E because you need the 22nd fret. And this guitar has 22 frets, which is awesome. The fretwork is amazing. There's not one overhang all the way down. Excellent fretwork on this. And it's got a plastic nut, something you might want to consider replacing with maybe a Graphtec nut. The tuning keys and the bridge are probably just cheap Chinese bridge and tuning keys. The bridge looks fine. If you're not abusing your whammy bar, which you shouldn't be if you're a beginner, the bridge is just fine. Classic six screw tremolo bridge. But a little graphite in the saddles, a little graphite dust in the saddles, a little graphite dust in your nut under the strings will work wonders for keeping your guitar in tune. But the tuning keys seem very stable. None of them are wobbly or loose. They all seem quite stable, and I've been keeping this guitar in tune the last couple of days. A couple of string trees there. And I think that about covers it. I haven't taken the back off. I imagine the block in this is rather small. But anyway, aside from this paint flaw, I see nothing else wrong with this guitar. Right out of the box, it was out of tune, but that's of course. But I tuned it up, and it plays great right out of the box. I prefer really low action on my guitars. I will lower the action on this one when I'm done the review, but right out of the box, it plays just fine. The action's not too high. The neck is straight as a pin, which is awesome. You don't have to do any truss rod adjustments or anything on this. So anyway, right out of the box, very impressed with this thing, except for the paint. But again, that's an aesthetic thing. And but from the front, it's barely noticeable, except up here a little bit, the kind of graying out here. But so anyway, let's put this thing through its paces and see how it sounds. All right, let's see how this budget guitar sounds. So anyway, we're in position 4. We've got our tone rolled off a little bit, and let's see. Nice. Like it. All right, let's try a little crunch on this thing. Put it on the distortion channel, crank the gain back a little bit. Put that on the humbucker. Ah, screwed it up. Play a little metal. Very cool little amplifier. You know, like I said, or maybe I didn't say, reverb adds a lot to a little amplifier, and it's a shame it doesn't have any reverb. It just adds so much depth and life to guitar sound. A little amp without reverb just sounds so flat. But anyway, for 40 bucks or for free with the kit. Anyway, what do we got here? We've got. Sound of this, you know, I don't like the sound, it's a $40 amplifier, but for amplifying your guitar for practice and as a beginner, it's fantastic. Great little rig. God damn, for 130 bucks. Can't go wrong. So let's unplug this from this little amplifier, plug it into a large amplifier with effects and reverb and chorus, and see how that sounds. All right, I've got my little Black Star hooked up. Metal. Balls to the wall. Nice. I like the sound of this thing. And the playability is fantastic for such a cheap guitar. Like I said, this is right out of the box, and I haven't got the action down to where I like it. But right out of the box, plays fantastic and sounds good. Let's clean it up a little bit. Nice. Highly recommend this. How can you go wrong for 130 bucks? It plays great. It's versatile, and like I said, right out of the box, the action on this was fantastic. It's got a great neck on it, and a great guitar for modding. Like I said, basswood body, nothing wrong with the basswood body. You want to mod this thing, you want to put in some more expensive bridge, more expensive tuners, which I probably recommend. Put a set of Grovers on this, or every single one of my guitars, I put graphite in the nut. You buy a little, let me find it. Hold on a second here. I can't find it. There it is. This is graphite dust. You'll find this in a hardware store. It's for putting in locks, for the sticky locks. Take this, loosen up your strings, put a little bit of graphite dust inside your nut slots, put a little bit under the strings on the saddle. Anywhere that the string touches metal or plastic really helps keep your guitar in tune. And so anyway, I've got very few bad things to say about this guitar. And I'm not just saying that because they asked me, because I'm very impressed. And I think I'm going to mod this guitar myself. I think I'm going to replace the bridge, put some high-end pickups in it maybe, and replace the tuners, put a Graphtec nut in it, and see what happens. But anyway, as a base to get started, it's fantastic. And if you're an experienced guitar player, you can't go wrong buying this and modding it, because the core of the guitar, the neck and the body, are just great. So anyway, highly recommend this one. And I'll put a link down below to Amazon.com, Amazon.ca if you want to pick up this guitar. Like I said, I'm not being paid to do this. I get to keep this guitar, so maybe, I hope. I hope they're not going to ask me to send it back. But so anyway, yeah, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to mod it up and see if I can turn it into something a little closer to a high-end guitar as far as hardware goes and whatnot. But from what I've heard and what I've played so far, very impressed with this thing. And so you want a cheap guitar kit, go pick up one of these. Really good stuff. And I guess their pedals are fantastic as well, which as far as budget gear goes, which I've never tried. So you get it, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time with some more solos. Ciao.